Stupid fat hobbit!
Welcome to the Forge and the Den. Thanks very much for stopping by, and welcome to this update to Lord of the Rings Journeys to Middle-earth scenery expansion. Now, welcome to all those that may have just drifted in out of interest and may want to know what all this is all about. It's about board games. Welcome to those who are maybe new players and you've just got the main game and you were lucky enough to get the expansion as well. And welcome to those that are seasoned players and have been to the Forge before and are looking at the expanding their collection. So for the benefit of people who may not know what all this is about a year or so ago, Fantasy Flight brought out this game, Lord of the Rings, Journeys to Middle-earth, an adventure game in which you battle the forces of evil. Now, in that game are scenery items, obstacle items that are all represented by cardboard. And what we do at the Forge here is get games like this and actually turn those cardboard pieces into 3D components. So that once you've painted them and dressed them and everything, they're ready for the board, and they give the game that much extra realism to the game. Now, many of the obstacles are placed on the board to represent situations and things like that, and penalties and such like. So I do a number of those. Now, in the first pack, and you can find all the details if you subscribe to the channel, you'll see details on the original pack. There was a lot of tokens in there and bits and pieces. Now, the game does have a huge amount of tokens. I decided I wasn't going to try and print all the tokens. There are a couple of vendors who do tokens specifically, so if you want complete token sets, then go there. But I did pull out some tokens, and mainly the obstacle parts. In addition to that, in that first pack there was some scatter scenery. There still is scatter scenery. Now, that is used for your battle boards, so there's some trees in there and some statues and bits and pieces, and that brings the whole environment to life. And it's not necessary for gameplay, but if you see things on Facebook and on the websites, you'll see that many people have made their game that much more interactive. Now, in this particular update, this is for Shadowed Paths, and here we have it. So here was the update that everybody's just been getting hold of. Lord of the Rings, Journeys to Middle-earth, the Shadowed Paths. Okay, there's not a huge amount in it from a point of view of extra components, so it isn't a massive update this for it. However, I have added some extras. I went back to the first game and there was a number of tokens in there, and as the Forge has got a lot more into resin printing, I thought, well, let's do some added extras, but let's go through what we're going to be expecting in shadowed paths. So we have, here's an example of one of the tokens, is a log on one side and elevated terrain on the other. And you obviously put those on the map. Now, we've represented these, so there's your now log. There is access on this to a spreadsheet that I make all the time, and I link it to all photos, so there will be photos of these close-ups. Now, just a reminder, this stuff doesn't come painted. You are to paint and dress them, all right? And there's the elevated terrain, and quite a simple little elevated terrain model there. Okay, so those two will replace that cardboard piece there. We then had rubble tokens. So some rubble there. We then had spider's web. I came up with the idea of just having a painted spider's web like that. It would be very, very delicate to actually try and print a spider's web, and you've got to look at the functionality of the piece. So that's more of a poker chip sized piece to indicate the spider's web. Then there was the uneven ground. Rest there. Then in the set also there was more depletion tokens. Now depletion tokens were used as little sacks in the first game, and there's 17 more of these in this game, so the pack contains those as well. And then we have the corruption tokens. Now this is where I started looking at tokens and seeing what we could add to it. Now I've got access to a lot more resin, and a really nice little corruption token there, which is part of the game. And essentially what we have there is the add-on part of the Shadows expansion. There are a couple of extra bits that I've put in, and I went back to the first set, and there were the darkness tokens. So managed to print resin Saurons, which can be your darkness token. And I did have that actually as Sauron's helmet on the floor, but I've decided not to do that one. You may have seen pictures of that one, mainly because I've got to be conscious of how well these will pack and how well people can actually get them. Now, what I will say, now these are going to be separate, all right? They won't be part of the Shadows pack, so if you wish to have these, there will be pictures of them on there. But they are resin, and they come to you on a plate from the resin printer like this. You're going to be required to clip these out, and they're already mounted on there, so you don't have to mount them, but you need to clip them out. If you decide to have some of these, you must watch the videos that I've done on the Gloomhaven Monsters collection, because it's all to do with resin printing. Okay, now what I will say, it's only these, but you will need some sharp side cutters. You won't need to UV them. You won't need a UV lamp, it's no point. You can actually just leave these out in the sunlight. In fact, these will clip out very nicely if you just left that block in the sunlight to harden up, so you'll probably get these. They might seem a little bit sort of tacky. Anyway, watch the video, because it talks explicitly about how to lift these out correctly. But it's to do with the Gloomhaven monsters, but it's all one and the same thing. Now the other addition I've managed to print off, because a lot of people were asking for them. I wasn't really going to, but these are the search and danger tokens. So we've got our search token, and we've got the danger token. There's a couple of other designs out there for them. I've just printed them off. You will need to paint them yourself. They are available if you wish, like sort of little poker chip size tokens for there. If you wish those, they're on there as well, but it was just more to make sure that there's an offering of those two particular type of tokens which appeared in the first edition, so they will be on there as well, and pictures on there. So realistically, that is your whole collection. Like I say, it does come unpainted. You will need to paint everything. For those that are familiar with this, that's great. Please look at all the other videos that have been produced in regards to scenery, painting and requirements and so on. It's not a massive ask. Actually, you can get all this lot done quite quickly on there. And that's it. I'm going to put all the links in that you need in the description. Please join our Facebook page group, as there's always a lot of vibrant community pictures going up on there to give you ideas and things. And obviously, if you're watching the video, please subscribe to the channel, have a dig around. If you've got any questions at all, please post them in the chat, or join over on Facebook and post them to the Facebook. That's it for me on this particular thing. It will be a sale through Etsy, so it'll be live on Etsy, and I'll put the link in the description for the Etsy page if anybody wishes to up and order them. Okay, that's it for me. Any questions, just fire away. Stay safe, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.